Didn't put you from second,
Is that?
because I posted it.
Okay. So, yeah, that's what we had discussed.
Nice.
Can you go on? You may go on, so click there. On for someone's screen.
Sorry. Oh,
Yeah, you get, it might just be easy to pull up on there, just to look at it.
right now,
Yeah. Pull up a new tab.
We have a specification for street space. We have a specification for district.
Right inside.
We have.
And then say change it to terrain. Layers. Bottom right.
I'm already sorry.
Yeah. I usually do the layers. That one might work though.
Especially, it always seems that there's certain ones that always attract the kids, right? So.
Meeting of Public Works. Together, it's Wednesday, March 13th at 5:30 PM. Present here is
Caleb Garn.
Donnie Kern,
Frank Crowe.
and we have Chuck here, and with MSA Engineering, and Bob Gunther for Public Works. On the agenda is Public Works minutes from February 7th, 2024.
Make motion to pass the minutes as submitted.
Randy Crowe, second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, all opposed? Motion carried. Next item is on the agenda is public comment on agenda items, 2 minutes per person, 14 minutes per topic. Anyone wishing to offer up a public comment on the agenda items? Okay. Come on up and, video. This way, you can be heard by the committee. Please state your name. And do we have to put address on or just name?
it should be address.
Name and address, please.
My name is Katie Biloff, and I'm at 1904 37th Street, Somerset, which is the town, but I feel like a dog park affects everyone in the community of Somerset, both the town and village. And I do believe that dog parks are an extremely important asset for any community. They benefit not just dog owners and dogs, but anyone who can't afford to own a dog can visit a dog park and get their benefits. That's why we have reading therapy dogs and dogs who visit hospitals, because so many people benefit just from the sheer presence of dogs. And I'd like to point out that there's hundreds and hundreds of dog parks throughout Minnesota and Wisconsin and thousands across America. So it's not a retreating fad. The number of dog parks actually increase every year. And all of these cities have found that dog parks enhance the quality of life in their communities for everyone. It's a resource that brings people into a place to live. They see it as another amenity. Even if they don't have a dog, they just see it as another development, you know, in that particular community. And then, let's see, as you can tell, I don't like speaking in public. But all of these thousands of dog parks have found that they basically run themselves. The dog park associations take care of most of the maintenance, so it's really not a burden on the park staff. There's, there has been some concerns presented about liability, spreading of disease, noise, fighting, injuries, and so on. And I've talked to many different local governments and dog park associations. These have not been problems in these parks. I really don't think that these are concerns. One thing though, of course, if a Frisbee is thrown at a dog, there's a chance that some dogs might try to get the Frisbee. In a dog park area, there would be a fenced in area, so someone would have to throw a Frisbee into that dog park.
2 minutes?
I'd like to say personally, I prefer the idea of a dog park at Apple River Village Park, though. That's where I would like to see it happen. Fencing would be much more expensive. I have a lot of ideas though for fundraising, which could be implemented. I'd like to also mention that we're not reinventing the wheel.
We got 2 minutes, so,
Can
but
I use your time?
sure,
Is that okay to do? Because I'm almost done.
I'll,
We're not reinventing the wheel. Thousands of dog parks have their rules and designs established. We just have to draw on their wonderful experiences and wisdom. I've been in contact with tons of them. And I'm happy to answer questions at any time for anyone, and to help with this project. And so we're not starting at, square zero. And, then there's much more I could say about the types of rules we should have. I've printed lots of examples. So you could see how easy it would be to create our own set of rules. To me, the biggest obstacle to a dog park would just be fundraising. And I'd be happy to share those ideas at any time if you guys would like to know. But I think it's within our reach.
thank you.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
Can I add a 30-second? I'm just here in support of that. I'm Robert Treel. I live at 201 Earl Street. And I don't, it doesn't matter to me where they put the park. I'm just in favor and support of it.
Thanks, Rob.
You said you had stuff to provide to us as a board. Do you have copies of it or?
Have one printout per dog park or what have
Okay.
you, but you guys could have, all of the sheets.
Okay, great.
If
We can get
you
copies
guys
of
can
those.
take a look.
Yeah.
And I can provide more materials for you too. For like the next meeting, I'll have more time to prepare more
Okay.
for you.
Right, thank you. Anyone else?
Susan Stepka, and I live at 994, 198th Avenue. So technically in the township of Star Prairie, but again, this would be great to have something local too. Now, right now, my husband and I bring our dogs to the New Richmond Dog Park. So we've been going there for 5-6 years. And I just wanted to say it's kind of a nice way to meet your neighbors and meet people and other dog owners. And it's like non-threatening because you can start by talking about your wonderful dog. And I've only had 2 issues, and one of them was my dog. But the one issue is that we just, once in a while, you will get dogs that just don't seem to get along for nothing, And then it's up to the owners to either remove one from the dog park. Now, New Richmond actually has a big area for big dogs, and then they also have a little area for like puppies to get used to it and small dogs. So if you feel like your dog is being threatened by the big boys, you can move them over or take them away. The other option is, or the other issue is, my dog somehow manages to jump the fence at the New Richmond Dog Park. And so now we have to bring her in on a leash, which seems really sad, but I don't know how she decided one day she'd be able to clear it, but she leaped it and she didn't take off. She hung around the outside and she'd watch. And then she's a part hunting dog, so she's like just hunting. And so she found a chicken one time. So now our dog is known as the chicken killer. But she's on a leash. So anyway, I just wanted to say, we've had lots of good experiences at the dog park and meeting people and seeing dogs have fun together. So Thank you.
That is a lower fence on your.
It is, yes. So I'm not sure how high it needs to be for my dog to not be able to clear it, but.
Anyone else wish to give any opinions or public comment? Anyone online? Okay. We'll close public comment. Project updates. General update on active projects.
Bear with me, I forgot to pull it up. Oh, let's see. All right. So, yes, impact fee needs assessment. We had our kickoff meeting earlier this week with Public Works and Andrea, and so we got some direction there and a start. You know, some of the stuff, it's gonna be a little bit slower just because of the facilities needs related to police and public facilities. So, you know, once that study is completed, then we can complete what we're doing.
What is related to what? I'm sorry. I didn't hear that.
They, the fire department, you know, there's.
The lease?
No, there's a
The need.
need study. There's a police component and an emergency services component. So,
And that's being done by ISG, right?
yeah, that's correct.
And do we know what their anticipated completion date is in order to stay on?
They'll be presenting at next Tuesday's meeting,
Okay,
the board.
and once that's done, then you'll take over from there?
Yeah, once we have that finalized and approved, then, you know, then we can finish up our stuff. But I don't know, do you anticipate that just being, is there gonna be more work ahead of it, do you know?
Yeah, the board's gonna have to decide our direction to go, because there's, I think, 5 alternatives.
Okay,
And then, you know, that, forming the committee and, you know, getting some feedback on a survey, that's an ongoing, work in progress there. Pineville, we had a pre-construction meeting yesterday, and they start tree clearing as soon as tomorrow and grading next week.
okay,
Oh, let's see, other highlights, next month you'll see 5 pay applications and change orders for Spring Street and Main Street. That'll be next month, this month you'll see Growing Wings later on the agenda. And that's pretty much the highlights, I don't know if you have any specific questions, any of you?
I didn't know. Neither.
unfinished business, outdated ordinances. We have several highlighted here.
So I wonder if it's good to review these. Take them home, review them. I have some comments on these, but obviously we're gonna have some discussion on.
Well, you wanna just take a quick, gander over them and I mean, not let's spend a lot of time on it. We can at least ponder what your
Yeah,
what
we
the
can go
thoughts are
through
on
the
it.
sections and then.
Right.
We can dive into it.
Like section 6.2-2 and sidewalks, it's this highlighted, is that what we're looking at as something that might be outdated?
So this has to do with assessments. And the question is the village interested in assessing property owners for curb, gutter, sidewalk, and those things? We have in the past, it's a practice we've moved away from. primarily because I'm not a very, big fan of it. We need curb and gutter, and storm sewer to design streets. We put that version.
Kind of
on the
mandated,
taxpayers.
isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's not. We can do, rural segments of roads, but that look terrible. So that's one of the things that we really should need some guidance there. Should do that or not.
Okay,
So those are typically a 10-year assessment. I think they can go out to 20 years. On a property, quick remembrance.
Yeah.
So,
okay. 62.3 excavation. Standard insurance. Outside of planned development, these are generally emergencies. The village should have some permit to make sure restoration is done. Is that something that we need to develop an ordinance? Is that what you're looking at? To require a permit on something like this?
okay, so I think item C on the backside where it asks for a fee of $5 shall be charged for a permit.
Page you on there.
I think he
Just
jumped
keep
over.
going.
He jumped to the
No.
6-2.
Just keep
On
going.
the back.
Go to the first pack.
I think you jumped to the second package. There was still another yellow line in the packet we were on.
What page is that? Oh, page 2. I didn't catch that one. Yes.
What's your thought on that one, Bob? Gives you the fee or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it takes more than $5 to administer a $5 fee. So, I think that.
I think, is it the issue of not necessarily collecting a fee, but knowing that there's work getting done on the sidewalks though?
Yeah, we don't typically have anyone just digging up sidewalks and replacing them, and we do have other ordinances that prevent people from doing things inside the right of way.
So that whole, that it's so there's a restriction of work being done to that work inside of right away.
Yeah, so this would be something in the matter of a broken sewer lateral, where that's the homeowner's responsibility to the sewer main, where there's a sidewalk. Well, that's an emergency. I'm certainly not gonna go find the people and say, I want you to check for $5.
Right.
For you to do that. We typically handle the details. We had a conversation this morning that there's a resident with some Orangeburg is gonna need to get into the sidewalk, and how is that handled? And it's just a discussion we have with the property owner, and we do the work. We would go the assessment route and bill it right to the property owner.
I think that's what the first part of that says. It says, Village of Somerset unless he or she is under contract with the village to do such work or has obtained a permit from the clerk. So you want to just get rid of the permit thing altogether and the work gets done by us?
Well, we allow them the opportunity to repair it themselves. Granted, they're using a cement contractor. But
So would the contract be
don't.
approved by the village then? So like, I mean, what I'm saying is that they notify you. They notify the village that we have this bona fide contractor to do this work, right? And then you're like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't quite, what do you mean by bona fide?
Well, I mean, they contracted somebody to fix that.
Yeah.
It's obviously if they're fixing plumbing or anything like that, it's gotta be a licensed.
Right.
Licensed,
plumber.
bonded, insured.
Right,
That we know who the contractor
Right.
is.
so they need to notify us of that it's been contracted, right?
And if the work doesn't get done, we have the ability to finish that and then reassess the property.
Okay. Okay. Now, the next one. 6.2
Yeah, and this one again, these are generally emergencies. So. If you go down and read section 2-3, it again goes into street opening permit of $25. Again, $150 plus actual expenses. There's a lot, all this are things we don't do.
I think it would make sense for us to maybe go over this, and if we have any questions, we can ask Bob on
Well, yeah, just kind of going through it, if it's that we don't do it, and I'm just trying to get your,
Yeah,
is that we don't do. Like you're saying, just speeding through it, not trying to put you on the spot on it, but I'd like to at least understand why it's highlighted,
Yeah, I'd like some time to digest all
Yeah.
of this together for sure before we,
village forester, we don't have one.
What's that?
That's the last pages. It's provisions for the village forester.
Okay,
Village forester shall be annually appointed by the village president, subject to board confirmation.
obviously that's,
We've never had a forester designated. In 6 years, as far as I'm aware.
noxious odors.
Yeah,
Ooh,
all right.
let's get into the. It's disagreeable odors.
so
Deadlines for requests, 6/2/10.
Oh, no, but sorry.
Why, is it the date that was in, is,
yeah, again, I think, talking about emergencies. And I think these things are getting intertwined with each other, well. Request or petitions by village property owners for new streets, street resurfacing, curb and gutter, storm sewers, utility work and sidewalk shall be presented to the village board on or before September 15th to be considered for installation in the following year.
that's what I was saying, are we looking to delete that altogether, or just delete 15, September 15th for it to be considered for installation? Right, they bring it to the planning commission at any time if they were gonna do something like that, right?
Yeah, and again, I don't think we've ever had anyone come and request a new street. Someone could call and say the street's in bad shape and. We annually rate our streets, so there's a process.
Unless they were tearing up and redeveloping something and then, or would that be all on the village?
That's more of a request that the way I read that is somebody's coming to the village board to say my street's in bad shape and I want it fixed next year.
Okay,
Awkward language.
yeah, it is awkward, but I don't know why it was in there.
It's kind of precipitating that you're going to do something next year. Well, if you come to us on September 14th, we'll have your street redone.
And my birthday is the 15th, so.
All right,
13.
we'll make sure it's done before midnight.
Oh, I see what they're saying. They're saying that, I read this a little differently. That's actually people coming to the village board and making a request to get their street resurfaced. Not actually doing the work.
No, right.
Okay. And 6/4 village forester, yeah, we're done with that one already. Is that all on 6? Or, yeah. Check title 11. Offenses against property. Abandoned refrigerators, removal of door. You want that just?
So here they're referring to an ice box. If you still have an ice box rolling,
Or riding your horse down the middle of the street.
Well, okay, so icebox, refrigerator, or other container which has an airtight door or lid. So you wanna remove icebox?
well, are we gonna enforce if we see, this is what ordinances are. If we see a refrigerator sitting on the end of somebody's property that Olson Sanitation is scheduled to pick up and the door's still on it. According to this, we should cite them for that. And the reason it exists is so children don't start playing in it and it tips over and the door lands on the ground and they can't get out.
What? Unless it's displayed on sale. Or pickup, right? But you can still put it out there for sale. It's, I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's like, you know, somebody playing that. Okay, detention based on probable cause.
But this is for library one?
Yeah.
I just thought it was, I don't know if the library knows this exists, so. This is, detaining people in the library for. Maybe stealing a book.
Little public works.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think.
No. But however, public parks and library are tied together.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow, so it is our problem.
Well,
But I think it's just more of an awareness that it's there and is that actually something that's going to occur.
it's well worthy of reviewing and recommending to the board of, King. Section 11.3.5 cemetery rules and regulations. Pets is twice, is that what it is? Under 7, page 4.
That's. Yeah, okay, so this is pertaining to pets, including animals of any species, horses are prohibited in any cemetery. So you can't walk your dog into the cemetery?
Hmm.
And again, if you do walk your dog in the cemetery, are we enforcing that?
I didn't see any horses gallivanting around, but a couple deer were running around in St. Anne's the other day.
You know, and if we have military services. There's a horse with a fallen soldier.
Sure. Horses, beveraging, alcoholic beverages prohibited in a cemetery, yeah. Play vehicles?
Is that a van?
Skateboard, roller skate, sled, toboggan, unicycle, toy.
They're the old pedal cars
So cars,
that were popular back in the
30.
a while ago.
Yeah,
Not-
man. I was gonna make. Oh, we're, no.
Got 2 more. Noxious odors. What pertain?
It's just something to do with, fall offensive, noisome, noxious or disagreeable odors within 4 miles of the village. I don't,
Would that have anything to do with, the, you know, the industrial park?
Well, we have authority within the village, but 4 miles away from here,
With no authority.
I can understand that being adjusted, but what I'm saying is, are we proposing to eliminate this or?
well, I think the question, I think that's why I said maybe just reviewing, you
Yeah.
know, what I have highlighted.
Sure,
It'll maybe make sense to why it's highlighted, but if something's happening 2 miles away. And I don't know how we have any type of enforcement.
right, our jurisdiction, it's a,
Calling the town of Somerset, the town of St. Joe, town of Star Prairie and say, what's going on? That's also why we have extraterritorial zoning. To prevent anything new from coming in, such as a manure digesting.
Sure.
Facility that was shopping for a home. Too recently.
but I could see removing the 4 mile, but it says within the village, that's why, you know, so that if we just took out the within 4 miles, that would ease the thing. You still have the issue within the, if there was something in the village, I could see what you're saying about not being outside the village. Okay, air pollution.
And F is dangerous trees, and I just put my note behind that, dangerous trees, all trees that are a menace to public safety. Or are the cause of substantial annoyance to the general public. I just put how many trees are there in town that are maybe.
Any of them that cover up a sign.
Well. Doesn't look what I don't think, does it annoy you or?
Somebody's going to jail.
You made people put trees in their yard, Kevin.
Under unremoved snow, is that something that you want deleted? Or you recommended to delete that?
I don't think we really want people sprinkling ash all over the sidewalk or sawdust.
And it also says sand or other chemical removers. I don't know what that has to do with, are you saying that they, you know, we won't allow them to do anything with it, or is it, are we just,
We don't want them spreading ash.
yeah,
Just maybe the only resource they have
back then,
are to, salt being available to the general public. And a lot of people burn wood for their source of heat.
okay, the enforcement thing, you just wanna review that, is that what you're saying? Okay. And 12,
I just need a little better understanding of what throwing a missile is. Anybody have any help with that one?
ICBM, Intercontinental Ballistic Missile, ICBM.
They have, was at the dollar store?
What's that?
Those at the dollar store?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll tell them, I'll tell them not to
how
shoot.
much are they worth?
They're more than a dollar.
That's why I signed up for this job.
I get the horse and carriage. You have $10 per participant, we're, that's on, for use of that, we probably wanna put that in like a fee structure if we were gonna do anything with the pavilion rentals or something like that, right?
This is for youth sports and that's the $10 fee collection.
Which
that we require now, but if we're gonna modify that agreement, then this should be reworked.
right, okay. Have they been enforcing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
As best as we can.
Caleb, you got something to say?
Caleb, gonna make a motion to table this item to the next meeting when we have the opportunity to review.
Frank, I'll take it.
Motion made and seconded to table until next month. We have a review, discussion, hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Ball field maintenance agreement,
Still waiting for a response from the school.
are we gonna put a drop dead on something like that for them, or are they gonna start? Start using the ballparks and the grass doesn't get cut or nothing gets done?
Do you
What's,
wanna provide some direction on that?
I would like to have something, I'll make a motion that we send the village send a letter to the school district, requesting that, that they be at the next meeting, or they have something to us to work through this ball field maintenance agreement by April's meeting.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to send a letter, the village to send a letter to, the school district. Get a maintenance ball field agreement or have them here in person next meeting to, get this, issue resolved. Any discussion?
Playing hardball with them, huh?
Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
There's been a lot of transition up there.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
we're not up to their priority.
We'll get it done.
Yep.
I actually jumped over something because I didn't have my glasses. Spring ball parks improvements updates, I apologize. I went right over that. So spring parks improvement update. With regard,
That's your paper clip one,
pardon,
top left. Yep.
that's why I did right more in front of me. So there's been met with the parks and Supervisor Neil and Jim, we went over some things at the parks. Had an opportunity to walk through with Caleb on one area and with Brandon on a separate occasion on another, different areas for dog parks. And we got a request for. And backing up a little bit with my conversations with the Jim and with Neil, I asked him to bring forth some of their suggested recommendations for getting things taken care of at the parks, and this is what they had recommended. Vets Park, replacing the timbers and putting ADA compliant mulch down, making it ADA compliant by putting down engineered playground mulch. And that would keep the pea gravel from being thrown into the pickleball courts. At Village Park, they recommended to remove the old ground foundation on the upper area and grub it out and replace it with grass and the old pole lights by the concrete stairs. They are also in the process of getting some other bids on getting the roofs done on the dugouts down there. Possibly in metal, because I think the fireworks destroyed them, in the past. Also grinding down the stumps by the river to ease out with mowing and trimming. They got some Larry Forest. They said get a chain link fence around, pound it back in around the basketball court, have concrete aprons poured around the perimeter of the bathrooms and concession stand, and add gravel between the dugouts on fields 2 and 3. And place at the entry to all dugouts. I think they got the gravel done already. That's just some things preliminary that they've established. They're getting pricing on all of this. And, I think we can look at that like we had talked about last month, once we kind of get an understanding of all of the different things of what, you know, what the cost is associated with that is when we can start looking and deciding as a committee what the next steps will be and what items can be done, or if we take everything to if we can make it happen with getting it done and just figure out the ways and means of paying for it. The second thing was, on the back page of that, they have the cost associated for the trap rock and playground mulch. You guys can look through that if you want. Then there was a discussion about the dog park. The one page here has a Somerset GIS 800 foot perimeter fence at with a 10 by 10 entry zone. 2 walkway size gates, 10-foot gate for equipment. It's about an acre at LaGranger. Brandon, you had some concerns with that. You proposed this, the second page one, which is at Larry, at Veterans. I don't know what the acreage is on that. Do you happen to know what that is?
I just drew a shape on it. I think it would be comparable to what that. Probably pretty close to what you got there.
I don't think they are the same size, because this is over. I'm just curious if we can get a scale on that. Because.
How far is that? How long is that street? You pretty much run it the length of that street, but near,
Yeah,
just back it off.
it's quite a ways off of the memorial.
Yeah,
We can get a good assessment on Google Maps.
Yep.
Of what this looks like.
yeah, like I said, I was just trying to be, because I'm for a dog park. I just am not for the area that was proposed. This was the first proposal. First off, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in that area to make it even be dog park ready. That's where the compost used to be dumped. So all those hills would have to be flattened out. All the trees that are in there would have to be removed. Second of all, that path and where these gates are, you have people walking right through a path line for one long. So people are gonna be walking right where people are throwing their discs. Second off, I guess third off. So there's many spots so you can get in that area from 1 long, 1 short, 2 short, 2 long, and 3 short. You could potentially fall in that area. I went out there disc golfing on Sunday with some folks, and 3 out of 4 of their discs landed right in that area. So I have concerns for safety of people in that area. I think the dog park's a great idea. I just don't think mixing them in the same park is a good idea. So those were the concerns I had with that area. And just the dog park out there in general. I mean, it's great these folks came down that are outside the village and come to the village, but I do live in that neighborhood and I'd be willing to go around. I know Tasia lives on that street as well, and I'd like to know what those folks had to hear, because I know you went and talked to the folks by the Veterans.
I did take an opportunity to talk to those individuals.
And they didn't want it there, right?
No, they actually, I didn't say that.
Okay,
And when I talked to you, I said there was not really much opposition to that. What I did also say was that, that there was some concerns that because there's a playground there, that the children would be, apt to, going over by the dogs too. And I think anytime you get between children, dogs, and other people, you're going to have, that type of situation. Maybe that's why New Richmond put their dog park, way out in the middle of the boonies. I don't know what.
Yeah, a lot of children use the Granger, my children use the Granger.
Mhm. And so, that is always gonna be a consideration, whether or not, you know, I guess that's why they fence them all in and they let people, mind
Like,
their animals.
like this lady just said here today, her dog jumped over the fence and it was loose. We already have loose dogs in my neighborhood, like, there's a loose dog up there every week. Like, at least once a week.
Okay.
Loose dog, which is all fine and dandy. I tried to chase down the dog that was loose in my neighborhood last week that we were at, like Caleb, I'm sure you got emails on. But
That it really kind of comes down to is where does the park go? The funding, I managed to secure the funding. The $19,000 bid that we got for that was, a lot higher, so I went out and found, somebody that's gonna be able to provide the fencing. Just gotta purchase the gates, because the gates is a tricky thing, so we're trying to get, I didn't get the bid back from Jim yet, he was trying to get them to submit a bid for just the specific gates, because you have to have an air gate for letting dogs in, unleashing them and letting them out into the public, or into their,
one other thing that was brought up in public comment tonight that I thought was a great idea is that it sounds like there's dog park associations or something like
Mhm.
that. And obviously we don't have one in Somerset, and it sounds like that's kind of the mechanism that was used to regulate some of these parks. So I mean, I'm all for putting one in, but I think before we just throw a fence in, we should have rules and, is it gonna be a fee structure? Is it gonna be, only licensed dogs are gonna be able to go there? How are you gonna, I mean, yeah, how are we gonna do it?
so, yeah, that's absolutely correct. So the real issue is, right now, up for discussion, is where is it gonna go? Because, well, the stuff, once it's determined where it's gonna go, all those other items will have to come into place before any fence would ever get constructed there.
Don't you want the rules before you would decide? I mean, either or, I guess. I'm for a dog park, just.
So are you okay with, that was recommended to have one down by Village Park, or Caleb, do you have any input on this?
Where were we thinking by Village Park? Do you wanna pull the maps up and maybe? I think we had Google
So,
Maps.
I've had folks share their thoughts with me with regards to Village Park, that it would be at the very north end of the riverfront.
So go over towards the river.
And there's a lot of, seemingly there'd be a decent amount of work.
Then a little bit south, I mean, other way. There you go.
Myself,
Yep, you're almost there, yeah. There we
you
go.
are, right
I'm
there.
thinking right, this area, is this where you're saying?
Yeah, even
Little
north
farther
of there,
north,
right
yeah.
in there,
Yep, right
Here?
there.
We
in
own,
that patch.
is that ours too
Yeah.
up in there?
Do we own that, Bob?
This cause there's like a gate here, right?
It stops right where your hand is, yeah.
And this is,
That's not ours, that's.
No, it's not.
Where that tree is, that's the gate, right?
yeah, right here is where it stops.
So go straight towards you with that? No, towards you, straight back, yep, that way, yep. That's what we would be looking.
Yeah, there used to be volleyball courts and stuff down there. I think
Okay.
that's a great spot, and then it would be by the river and people can walk their dogs down. There's a nice trail down there, and it has access to the rest of the trail system then and stuff. So everyone could get there. It's down tucked away from people, so you don't have to worry about barking dogs, anything like that. And if they get loose, maybe the river could corral them a little bit.
I think it's a decent spot. I think we should get some public feedback on that as an idea.
Would it cause, I mean, we've got big dreams for down there. Is that
Well,
gonna,
that's-
is that gonna interfere with the plant, cause I'd really like to still do that referendum to get the whole thing done down there, but and I'd hate to.
I don't think it'll interfere, it'll enhance the dream.
No, as long as it's there in the spot, it's gonna stay there, you know what I mean? Cause you're
Right.
thinking like band shell there, and I don't know, maybe there was one already
You're not
working
gonna
the
be
plan.
moving mountains if we had some time to relocate it
Okay.
somewhere else in the park, so.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world.
I mean, the only thing that is used for down there, people just go out whip a Yui in there real fast or, other unsavory things.
Bob, do you feel like there's room over there?
There is, my only concern is the access to Village Park is.
Jim, yeah, it's kind of ruggedy, you know, from that. Jim and them guys were okay with that area too, but they recommended the better spot was out La Granger. If you guys, us as a committee feel that that was I was leaning towards that one too, myself.
The river one?
The river one, and
Yeah.
because we can go up and into them trees even more.
Yeah.
Than what you see right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's flat for a while in those trees.
It'll tear us up to it, yeah, but, you know, I was just going by what you know, I mean, we were putting everything out there based on recommendations, so really, it's been vetted, you know, across, and we had over 80%, I think, on that referendum from the court, that they wanted to see something, that really it comes down to is, what kind of a dream do we want to have? Do we want to get it, we can, with just a little bit of effort, we managed to get the fencing. That's just a matter of figuring out where to go. And I think, with that happening, we can definitely challenge people to form some kind of an association to figure out the rules and regulations and everything, to bring them forth to us. And then it's just a matter of, getting those enacted and making it happen.
Yeah, because everyone's got to take personal responsibility for their dog. because
Absolutely.
Everyone walks by people who don't take care of their dogs, like, and that's the last thing you need. And the guys aren't gonna be picking up after these owners aren't picking up after
Absolutely.
their dogs. So it have to be a partnership.
Yep. I'll make a
What'd you come back with for a price before can you give?
price for what?
The fence and gate, do we want to do a not to exceed?
Yeah, it won't exceed more than $5,000. He said between $1,000 and $1,000 a gate, I think is what he was saying. So if there's a couple grand, I was just, you know, I would say it wouldn't exceed more than $5,000. Or just for the 10-foot gate. Whereas,
19,000 for the fence and another $5,000 for the gate?
no.
Johnny got fence donated.
Oh,
What condition is this fence that's getting donated? That's a concern.
It's not like chicken wire, you know, it's actually a standing fence right now. It'll be taken down and relocated over here.
My question is, what condition is it in?
Well,
It was tore
Yeah.
and sagged and isn't going to look.
well, we can put that in as we wouldn't be putting that up, yeah. What I was told was, it's like new condition, less than 10 years old. And that's what do you call that, chain link fencing. So what would chain link fencing be on something like that if it was less than 10 years old?
Maybe we should take the stuff off the bridge and put that stuff. on the
Yeah.
bridge.
Right?
So we can go see it.
Yeah, where is it at right now? Can we see it?
Yeah.
Drive by it?
Well, no, it's, some of it's been taken down already, but some of it, I'm sure you could go and take a
6
look
foot, 5 foot,
at. 4 foot,
4 foot?
Yep.
That's not tall.
Pardon?
That's not,
It's all it is at the other dog parks. Is 4 foot that I went and looked at.
I can almost jump over that. Almost.
I know. You can do that. I'd be willing to make a motion to put the dog park at north side of Village Park. And set a not to exceed $4,000 for gates. And the fence would have to be inspected and approved by the Public Works. Before it's, the donated fence would have to be inspected by Public Works Department before it's installed.
We throw in and Bob on that one.
All the words correctly. And,
I don't think Bob wants anything to do with it. You wanna approve it, Bob?
Make an assessment on the fence.
You wanna make, yeah, that's probably a little.
No, before it's, what I'm saying is you're gonna look at it and determine if it's not gonna be acceptable, then it won't be put up.
And then where does that leave us with this motion?
Well, then,
Square,
It would die.
square zero.
well, we'd have to decide then whether or not we can find funding to finish it or not.
I don't think Bob wants to be the one to kill the dog part.
No, I just,
Well, I just wanna make sure Bob says over the maintenance and
It's
mowing.
it's not up to me, I just. Doing things quickly normally doesn't pan out to do it incorrectly.
Right.
So, do you have all your questions answered? Are you ready to move on with this? That's fine.
Well,
But
this is,
I think some things have brought up that are pretty valid points. Should we consider having a small and a large dog venue? Is it worth investigating that and implementing? I got a small dog. I won't wander in with boxers. So that would give people probably a peace of mind. And then the same,
Is this something the champions could take on or?
Well, the champions did have it on their deal and.
I feel like you have a pretty good advisor sitting in our audience that would
Yeah.
provide a lot of helpful information.
It sounds like she has packets of stuff printed out, ready to go.
It might assist the committee in making decisions.
Right. But so recommending the spot and setting a do not to exceed doesn't necessarily, and getting the fencing taken care of, not, then it comes up to size. And if we can, all of that stuff can all be worked into it. So those unanswered questions are questions that would be needed to be discussed. Don't necessarily have to come to this committee if they can be worked out between the Parks Department and the champions or anybody else. Really, all we're doing is we're dedicating the spot and we won't open it up and we won't put up the fence until we get it approved. That's all we're looking at. We don't even know what size we're looking at or anything at this
It has to
point.
go past full board too,
Ongoing maintenance.
yeah,
Right.
And,
because we've had stuff that passed this committee that doesn't make it to village board
Yep.
recently.
Is it gonna be circle or is it gonna be squared?
Whatever will allow in the topography, I think, really. And that's where Jim and them guys are gonna have to, look at it and say what makes most sense for them, maintenance wise as well. But that's why I leave it
Closer
up
to the shop too.
Pardon?
It's closer to the shop where it's at, down there.
So I get a motion on the floor.
I'll second that, Donnie.
Okay, motion made and seconded. You got it.
I'll replay it.
Motion made and seconded to have a do not to exceed at $4,000 and set up the dog park area at the north part of Village Park.
Violate protocol, but I could chip in about the small dog thing if you wanted, but I could just email too. Okay,
Send the email to all of us as well as the rest of the stuff that you have on that.
sure.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Did you have something that, any more on the,
Goats?
no, I was gonna say, any more on the, I thought
Parks and
that
Improvements?
we didn't, have that, are we, just going forward with that bid didn't make it to this agenda?
No, it's just on the. So it got
We
put
were
on the
looking
full
to-
village board, because it already made it through this committee, but then it,
The
So
village,
the painting? The
Oh,
painting of the,
I didn't get that quote, I got the go quote, I don't think there were any other.
that was sent to you and I didn't know if that went to does that go to the full board or is that,
We'll go with the committee first.
okay?
Painting, how much was it?
Is it in here? It was from, I don't know what the heck you guys.
I didn't get anything.
All right.
Do you know how much, do you got ballpark off the top of your head, Donnie?
It was, I could tell you where,
Around 12,000.
exactly,
And that was for Larry,
all of it.
all Larry Forest, all pavilions, all bathrooms in the whole, all the park?
Everything that they wanted done. Painting the exteriors of the bathrooms, staining the pavilions and painting all the parks or at vets and painting all of the fascia and everything the same color at Larry Forest.
Wow. Doesn't seems like a good deal.
Okay, so the $12,845. That's at Veterans, Larry Forest and Village Park, where the painting includes exterior doors, trim, soffits and fascia. Staining includes previously stained areas and painting all 4 doors and 2 windows at Vets Park. Staining includes previously stained areas. Larry Forest painting includes exterior doors, trim, soffits, fascia, and painting the same roof the same color on the bathroom. Larry Forest snack bar painting includes door, soffit, and fascia. Park pavilion includes previously painted areas, all same color, and storage shed, all painted areas. $12,845. Bob, you and I had talked about getting, additional quotes, and you had,
Nobody's gonna touch that.
you had said that that's a pretty good number.
That's gonna be 12 for that, and 12,800 for that. And then for the dog park fence or gates. And then the goats.
And your signs.
And my signs, yeah, which we're gonna get money back for. I think that's gonna put us pretty close. What is that gonna put us at? Signs are like 2.5, but the new goat quote was like 4.1. 12 and 12,800. And $4,000.
So shipping on the gates.
I think $4,000 per gauge, they figured out one. So they can't exceed it.
So we got 2,500 for the signs, 4,000 for, the fence, and 12,845 for all the parks getting painted this year and or stained. All parks buildings getting
And then
painted.
4 state goats. That's the goats.
I'll make a motion to approve this based on input from Bob. Approving this and getting this, the paint done at $12,845, make it a recommendation of painting the parks, $12,845.
Second.
Motion made, seconded to approve a recommendation of approval of, the painting, the parks and or staining of all the parks here. $12,845. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay? You want them signs? You got that approved for recommendation?
The signs were, yeah.
That was last month.
Yeah.
Was it to the board?
I believe I went to the board, didn't it?
It did go to the board, but I don't know if we actually
Let's,
discussed it as part of, I think we just focused on the goats.
yeah, let's put it out there. Make a motion, recommend that the signs be purchased, right?
Randy Crowe make a motion, for the disc golf signs to be purchased, not to exceed $2,500.
Donnie Kern second. Motion made, seconded to approve purchasing of the disc golf signs not to exceed $2,500 at LaGranger Park. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Okay.
So Donnie, can I get a copy of that email so I can?
Yeah.
To Tasia? I don't need it now, but
Yeah.
just so that way I don't have.
Yeah, I'll send over to Bob. I'll make sure it gets forwarded over to you. Anything further for spring parks improvements updates? Just one quick thing. I did talk with the boosters. They appreciate having the guys take care of, the items that they had, highlighted to me that I brought up to, Neil, and they got on it right away as far as getting some gravel and stuff down. So, good job on that. And they also are looking at some things, and I told them that it all needs to come before the board as far as any kind of additional improvements or anything like that. And I think, the other thing too, when we were walking around with the boosters on that, at the parks, is, at Larry Forest, the inside of the dugouts are all you know, probably could use a coat of paint. Is that something that we wanna maybe put into that maintenance agreement on them, or is that something that we wanna handle internally?
I'm not interested in painting the inside of the
Dugout?
baseball dugouts, no.
Okay. So is that something we wanna put on the?
I think that, I don't know how we won't make a mess of that completely. You're talking to the inside where the rafters are,
Yeah.
spraying the ceiling and
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, where it's all starting to rot, yeah. In a couple spots.
who's, I mean, is that a request from somebody or?
We pointed out when we went through the walkthrough last year, you and I and Jim and everybody, yeah. We'll talk about that next one.
I don't wanna talk about it next month. I wanna come to a resolution on it. We don't,
Okay.
we don't wanna paint it.
Okay, so then maybe the maintenance, maybe to have the school paint it?
That's their, kind of their dugout,
Okay.
so.
We'll note that to them with that memorandum then. Okay. Next item on the agenda, corp survey.
I have one question that I wanted to add to this.
This is a working document, so.
Okay, yeah, no, I was, and my conversation, the one thing that I put in there was, how much per month would you be willing to add, would you be willing to pay for improvements? Do you have like a 10, 5, 1 in there, so we can kind of gauge that based off, all right, if someone's willing to throw in $1 a month, then maybe it'd be a lot easier to sell to be like, hey, your taxes are only gonna be raised. We're only gonna have to levy so much, and that's gonna end up being 50 cents per villager. And per this survey, it said, 80% of everyone said they would give $1 for the parks or something like that.
And how are they giving it dollar?
Well,
No,
it's in
I-
the survey.
Just a
No, I'm
survey.
just saying, if, say they approve it, how would you?
I guess I'm not really.
That'll be
with the
discussed
mechanism.
down the road.
Yeah, mechanism of getting the dollar, just wanting to wonder if like. Walk them along the path of saying like, okay, if you're willing to give this much, then it's easier to make the argument later. Potentially, you can lean on the survey.
It can't be added to the utility bill.
No, we got it, no.
It's a
We're
good,
taking it out of sewer.
so you're saying, what if any, would you be willing to, sacrifice, for additional park amenities?
And then make it like, 10, 5, 1, so it should be pretty easy to be like, right, is there a big delineation between 1, 5 and 10? Or is it all just $1? Or other ways?
Yeah, 5, 10, or 20.
Or other.
Yeah, either way. That was the only question otherwise I kind of looked at it, I thought everything else was pretty good.
This is pretty much the same thing as what last time, wasn't it?
Essentially. I don't know if you want additional questions. I don't know if you want questions reworded. More options under future amenities
I think you need to put more options under, such that one.
and what the process would be to solicit this to the public for their feedback.
One question with soliciting feedback is, when we get feedback on this, do we need to, disseminate people that live in the village or don't live in the village, sometimes that comes out. Is that on
We're
here?
not sending it out to non-village residents, right?
Well, we use the schools to help advertise it.
Okay.
Maybe we could put that on here then too. Are you a resident or you live in?
First paragraph.
There it is. Oh, yeah, there it is. It's fine.
Where's the band shell?
It's not on here.
I request a
Under-
band shell.
Other, that'd be other.
Yeah, if you guys wanna email me,
Yeah,
additional questions I asked.
When, Bob, you want any help kind of massaging
Yep,
that question? Because,
it was,
you know, that's, when you start talking money, you can write it, you can skew it one way or the other, right?
yeah.
You know,
You
so,
skew it to my position, which is to have some money.
Last time when there was rather low. Low, or was it pretty, a pretty strong turnout, response?
I remember we had around 150 respondents.
About 10%?
Can we get people as they vote? Can we give them something as they, can we be like, here's a survey, take it as you
I
go?
wouldn't suggest that.
I think
I
that's-
think so. Yeah, I don't think we can do that. Not sure. but
Even if it's for the village.
I don't think so.
What we can do is go knock on doors, Brandon.
Yeah,
Do that right now.
We can put a post out that these would be available at the village hall. And while people coming in to vote.
Yeah.
And ask, hey, where's that survey? And they
Oh, yeah, and they can,
decide, but.
then the candidates could say that too, right? They could say, hey, remember your survey while you're gone. Cause like, the
When did
last
this-
thing I
when is
want
this
is a
rolling out?
Facebook post. I don't want a Facebook post. I don't think that should count as viable.
When is it rolling out?
As soon as we're comfortable with the questions. And then, we would probably kick it out. End of April. Just get some finality on this.
So next month, we pretty much got
Yeah, so we
to
get
iron it down and
something firm
Figure
from
out-
the committee and then it's ready to go.
Okay.
And then what, do you want it on Survey Monkey? Do you want it?
Have they ever done something where they kind of put out like a, if you fill out the survey and submit it, you're entered into,
Can we
your
get
name
it?
would be entered into a drawing or something like that, or does it have to remain completely anonymous? Does it have to be a completely anonymous survey or, I mean, or?
just a survey, so I don't think you can, doesn't matter.
Choose to.
Could we work with,
By themselves.
could we work with the school and get it in Spartan School?
Yeah, so. That's our. Our strategic plan was, the school was our communication force. Last time we did go through the school,
We put a link on the scoop, we put a link out on a Facebook post that goes to the Survey Monkey. And
Put it on the YouTube page, I'll link it in this
everywhere
video.
we can think of, but it,
I'll link
when
it
I
in this
put a
video.
note on the bill that says check out wherever for the survey.
Perfect. Okay. We'll solicit feedback.
I'll cruise town on my scooter.
Oh, you're busting the Milwaukee out?
Okay, so, next item,
yeah, email me any additions,
Yep.
exclusions,
and we'll
we'll get it.
table it for next month, for next month then, okay?
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks. Street use permit, pea soup days.
Joe, gonna make a motion to issue the.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, we wanna hold off for a
Yeah.
second.
We
There's
have
two things.
discussed some.
Oh,
So,
Why are they shutting Francis and then HUD down at different times?
different things going on.
Raid road.
so Francis Street has the soapbox derby,
Uh-huh.
and
Well, they closed HUD Street down, why wouldn't they just close Garfield and then you got that whole block and you got HUD and Spring open on both ends?
So it doesn't have a hill.
No, Garfield they're playing basketball on HUD, right? Garfield doesn't have any, Garfield can be a flat spot for them to play basketball on. I mean, it's right by they got the parking lots and everything right there, and that would close off that whole area by the library.
so the free basketball is on Hut Street from the library.
That's where it's showing right over by and it's closed down by Pizza Planet there on Main and HUD. And I don't know why they wouldn't just close Garfield down. And then they could close, you know, for both of them for that day.
Well, I think this needs some discussion and it needs to go back. I talked with Joel and since the school has, okay, so they started with the school district south of the roundabout. And we have to close County Road I at Bruce Larson, which forces traffic to be detoured to the schools.
School Drive and Spartan
Spartan's
Drive.
campus, all the way through the meadows. And conversely, people coming on the north side of town, if they're coming in by the Legion, and they want to access that part of town, they're gonna have to go all the way through the meadows. And these are people that aren't familiar with Somerset. So it causes a few issues with, it brings up some emergency responding time if we have. We don't have a good route for them to deepen, because we're using the school's campus to shift vehicles during the time of the parade.
Can they start out at Larry Forest?
That's our suggestion.
Because then
They
they.
didn't
then
like
they can
that
get
idea
Spring
because it
Street.
was too not big enough. But
Is the,
if we can keep Klucher open, that solves a world of problems. And if you remember,
But they're gonna come back down Depot and
I
Clucher.
told, okay, can I finish?
Oh, sorry.
Thanks. If I can. If we can allow Klucher Street to just to remain open, and we made the school do the same thing. We said, no, you can't start at the school. You're gonna have vehicles going into the school district. You're not gonna want vehicles going in there. And Joel agrees with this, and Joel's in his office too, if he wants to speak on it, but I don't think he needs to. So I think there's the conversation that needs to happen with Dave. Because that it's not a good situation.
So the question. The route would go. Not come back down through Clucher? You wanna keep Clucher open at all times, or will it close when they get around to that point? But if you leave from Larry Ford, I mean, what are you suggesting is
It's
what
gonna
I'm,
go down Sunrise,
uh-huh,
by the village hall,
uh-huh.
and through this intersection, and it's taking a right, going up through Main Street, and then it dissolves after that.
So it doesn't come back down Depot or Clucher? Okay. Why wouldn't they just keep going down all the way down and terminate at, Vets like they've done in the past? That's where we always used to go. We always used to go up and it would always end at Vets Park up, off Parnell.
So they are coming down Klucher, but then they'll have this, Klucher's a main hub to get traffic, and shutting it down creates quite an issue.
that future right there?
If they finish at Village, no, Village Park's gonna be packed because the pea soup days.
That's what was,
Go to
that's what,
Veterans.
I know that they did this because this is the parade route for the school,
They can go across the village.
but. All the years that I remember prior to this, it just carried on through spring. Crossed over and it started there, but they only closed down from, well, Bruce Larson, they really didn't go around that way. They only closed down to Klucher until the end of the parade got there, and then that was open. You see what I mean? And then that was, because then they only shut down just at Main Street. Or it's Spring Street off of Main. They shut Main down right down here. When we come through. Now they're coming back up and they wanna go all the way around.
Yeah, I think they should start at Larry Forest and end at Veterans. Seems like that would be, there's a parking lot at
Yeah.
each end, or they could get out at the church there, and the parking lot there, they could dissolve after that.
Why would it be the same issue if they come through here? And this was the end?
They gotta leave Kucher open. Kucher and Depot gotta stay open.
Oak Street, you're saying?
Yeah, you'd come down Depot, take that left and dissolve in here. But it still closes down this artery.
So we table this back to them? Have more
I
discussion?
would suggest that, and that was Joel's.
I also would like them to at least reconsider that. Maybe close down Garfield, because then they had closed Garfield and Francis. And you can still get down HUD all the way across, otherwise HUD's closed down for one section and then Francis closes down at a different time. That's could be a little confusing,
Who's calling Dave?
okay? So we'll table that. So when do they need a response back on that?
It's not till June, so
Right.
thankfully this is early.
Okay.
Dave's on.
Okay. Yeah. C, Roy Wings change order.
So, yeah, so as with any project, we have a change order at the end of the project just to, true up the quantities for the auditor. And so that's what this change order is. There's actually a quantity revision summary that didn't get into the packet, but I'll include it in the. I may have not sent it to you,
Okay,
so.
I mean, I printed everything.
So, but yeah, but basically, if you look at the pay application, which is the next agenda item, you know, you can see where the final quantities end up. But it just kind of trues up all the quantities, so. We're recommending approval.
Is that 25,170.71?
Or the 252.
Or is
Well,
that the
no,
final?
it's just the quantity, so there's no cost to it, it's just a quantity adjustment. So it's just a recommending approval of change order number one, quantity adjustments. You don't have the quantity revision summary.
The
but-
increase in the change order was 37.79 on there, wasn't it?
Oh,
Says increase of this change order, 3,798.77.
that was. What do I have goofed up here? Was this change order number two?
Change order.
No, on this one,
So it was an increase of 33,700.
I think that's a,
Why don't we bring this back to village board?
well, I'll bring it back to village board. I think that's a, I think that's a mistake, so I apologize. I thought it was just I thought it was just quantity adjustment, and there should have been any cost there of the change order, so. I'll get it straightened out, we'll get it to the board properly, my apologies. So then, you know, cause the pay application doesn't include a change order at all. And so if there is indeed a cost associated with it, the pay application's wrong, which I don't think it is. But I don't want you to approve something they have when they have to rescind it later on, so,
So you'll have to double check both. of them.
yeah, I will, apologize for that.
Rather you be sure.
That's easy.
Yeah, that's the job. Probably your assistant.
Yeah, there's always somebody else. to do it.
Discussion, WWTF Black.
So, yeah, this is another, goofy thing here, and,
We'll take it down. Is that, that good solution? There's incorrect information on trustees, got a lot of stuff.
it's not the right people and it's not everybody.
Right. So instead of getting a new plaque, is it okay if we just take the plaque down?
No one sees a plaque other than the operator and the guy who delivers chemicals.
Right.
So move.
Second?
Well, it's just discussion.
Oh,
Yeah, there's no
So,
motion to be
just-
had.
And, I can't be at the next meeting. So
The village
just, to
board
have that-
meeting, or-
yeah, the village board meeting. I mean, it's not like this has to be decided anytime soon, but, that's, that's the cleanest way to do it, is just take it down.
I mean, you said no one's gonna see it.
I don't even know what it is, so.
Public Works Department report.
So you're up to, not a whole lot to discuss. Few things with the remaining wastewater treatment plant, upgrade project, cross connection inspections from HydroCorp are, occurring now.
Let go all year.
Yes, sir. Churchill, the parking situation, I worked with DOT, signs will go up on the, northbound, travel lane, and then the DOT will come in and stripe the parking lanes on the southbound, along the cemetery. That was actually supposed to be in the project, and it just got missed. So
Are they going to,
that's a cost on us, so.
they're gonna bill us?
Yeah,
Are they gonna do anything with fixing, laser and, what is that, on the road down on, connects up with SMC Drive? Where the old detour route was, it's all beat up now.
they're gonna come through and do a final assessment once we get through, punch list. Yeah, so
Sometime this, next couple of months, we'll know if they're gonna get that. I would suggest at least that portion get repaved by them.
repaved,
Yeah, it's all beat up.
I don't think they're gonna repave it.
Well, they're gonna have to do something with it to get it back to,
They'll patch it, but they won't repave it.
well, if you take a look at it, you'll see what I'm talking
I
about.
don't know where you're talking exactly.
Right in front of SMC.
Yeah, that was beat up pretty bad prior.
I walked that road before and I watched it deteriorate over that whole time frame of that. And, a couple of other people that we walked around right on there as well and.
It's been pretty beat up down here. I've worked there for like 10 years.
Right, yeah, I know, but not up, back up on this side. Well,
It's
I
needed
disagree.
attention since before the,
I'm just saying, it got pretty beat up watching the trucks drive down it too.
well, the garbage trucks go down there too.
I can see what they'll respond with that.
If not,
And
you guys
public-
plan to work that into fixing it eventually, right? If We've got that plan somewhere in a 10-year plan or something to repair it.
SMC Drive wasn't on our 5-year. It wasn't on it yet.
Might be something to reconsider when we look at our 5 or 10-year plan.
Public Works, Water, Sewer and Parks budgets, bills. Anyone wish to make a motion to approve the bills?
Caleb Garn makes motion to approve the bills.
Frank Brown second.
Motion made and seconded to pay the bills as presented, or recommend payment of the bills. I assume that's what you're saying, right?
Yep.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Alright,
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Future agenda items. So the only future agenda items are still out there is the outdated ordinances and the ball field maintenance agreement, right?
And the total survey.
And the court survey.
Can't think of anything else at the moment.
Caleb Garn make motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Frank Brown second.
Motion made second to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion adjourned. We are adjourned at 6:56.
Right, 6:59.
I got 6:57 on Apple.
You go warm your own there for a second.
Thank you.
He lives in the family. He's been homeless for 20 years.
Oh.
I got